Nikola Vucevic, the Orlando Magic center, big numbers, played for the All-Star team, over 20 points, double-double, 12 rebounds a game. And the Magic are coming. Magic are not that far away. And Nikola's with us here on Tiki and Tierney. Nikola, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, man.
Yeah, we are good. What has been the turnaround? You guys went on a 6-game winning streak, and that was prior to losing the last couple in a row. But you guys are only a half a game out of the playoffs right now. You're not that far out of the 6th seed, to be perfectly honest with you. And nobody expected this. What's different at the latter part of the season?
I think we just kind of finally put everything together. Throughout the year we've been inconsistent for the most part, and we'd have good stretches, not so good stretches, and then we have games that will play very well for 2 quarters, and then we'll fall off. And I think in that last let's say month right now already, we've just been able to put it together for the most part, and that's why we've been able to have some success and get back into the playoff race. So obviously we lost the last 2. But we're back at home now, so hopefully we can get some wins at home and get back into it.
Yeah, you talk about going back home, and obviously that's helpful, and the energy that usually comes from a home crowd helps that. What's the reception in Orlando? It's been a few years since Orlando's been this close to being in the postseason. What's the reception down there?
Well, one thing about our fans here is obviously we had a lot of rough times, and it hasn't been easy for them, but they still show up at every game, and they still support us, and they've been good to us for all these years, I have to say. But this year I can feel it, especially now as we're trying to make this push for the playoffs. More and more fans are buying into it. People are really getting behind us, and you can just kind of feel there's a good buzz around the franchise and the city that people believe that we can make it, and so it's on us to deliver. And obviously home court is last month of the season is going to be huge. If we can defend it, it could be a huge plus for us.
Yeah, and you're a big part of this mini basketball renaissance out there in Orlando. You're shooting the three as good as I should say, as well as you ever have as a pro. You got the requisite size. You're legitimate 7 feet. You got nimble feet, good hand-eye coordination. Your game has grown really outside of your first year with Philly. Every year after that, you put up numbers, you could score, you could hit the window, but it seems like this is the year it's all come together for you. You always hear the old adage, the game's slowing down. That's when you hear that from players when they start to really get it. Has it slowed down this year, or are you just more consistent? What do you attribute it to directly, your all-star status?
Well, I think, a little bit of everything, but I think mainly it's just, it's actually very true that the game kind of slows down for you. The more experience you get, the longer you play. Things kind of become easier for you because, you're able to make better reads, understand how certain things work, how to work better angles, everything. So I think the game just kind of slowing down for me has helped me kind of put it all together and take it to a whole other level. And then also, a lot of credit, to Coach Cliff, who came to us this season. And so it's helped me elevate my game to a whole other level. The way he's been using me all year long, our communication, the confidence that he has in me, it just helped me as well, go on the court and play at a higher level. And, I started the season off well, and then kind of my confidence grew, and then my teammates, been able to, help me, play well as well. And just put all that together, I've been able to be really consistent this season and have a good year.
Yeah, you're in your 8th year now, and you just dive into your stats a little bit. You never used to shoot 3-pointers, but obviously the center position has changed over the last 5 or 6 or 7 years or so. And so you talk about expanding your game. That was part of it. In the All-Star game, you don't have a center anymore in the All-Star game. It's positionless basketball. How important has developing that part of your game been to creating who you are now?
It's been a big advantage, for me and the team. Obviously, when I first got into the NBA, it was almost kind of like forbidden for a big man to shoot threes. If you shot mid-range, it was kind of okay, but that was about it. And so as I became involved, bigs started shooting more and more threes, and I felt like it was something I could add to my game, because I was already a good, shooter from like 18, 19 feet, and just worked on it, past couple of summers and during the year as well, and got more confident. And this year is obviously, the most I've shot in and the most efficient I've been. But I still think, I can take another step with my 3-point shot. It's just kind of, finding the right amount of, playing inside out, not being too much on the 3-point line. And so it's just kind of figuring out that mix. as we go on, how it can be useful both inside and out. And I think when you have a big that can shoot, spaces the floor so much, it puts so much pressure on the defense.
Yeah, no, there's no question. Nikola Vucevic, who's with us here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio, all-star forward for the Magic, who, again, probably a year away, but you never know. They're knocking on the door for the 8th seed. They could certainly get that this year in terms of actually making some noise, maybe a little addition over the summer, and you guys are getting there. And listen, Nikola, the easy thing for us to do is to react to the Celtics, the Celtics Warriors game last night, or what's going on with the Lakers and LeBron. I mean, that's kind of the easy stuff. What I think is almost as interesting, but a lot tougher to do because you got to commit yourself to really watching the games, is identifying something that's a year or two away. And I look at the Southeast Division right now, and I'm starting to look at your team, and I'm starting to look at the Atlanta Hawks as two teams that are putting some seeds in the soil where I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are battling for, 45, 50 wins apiece in a couple of years. Do you get a sense that along with Atlanta, you guys are one of the Eastern Conference teams that's getting ready to make a run very soon?
Well, I think that both teams definitely have some very good young pieces and some players that can really good in years to come. Obviously, it all depends on how to develop and how the roster look. It's not always that simple, but there's definitely a lot of potential for us and the Hawks. And obviously, the Hawks with Trae Young, John Collins, Herter. Those are guys that can be very good for them for a lot of years. And we have Mo Bamba, we have Aaron, we have Isaac, and a couple of us that are already older, and so obviously some of us are free agents as well this summer, so we'll see what happens with all that. But I think that there's a bright future, and also those franchises struggled for the past couple of years, so it'll be good for them to get back to success.
Yeah, Nikola, you talk about Aaron Gordon and Jonathan Isaac and even Mo Bamba, who you just took this year. You guys have drafted all of these guys. Now, you obviously were traded in. You drafted by the 76ers and got traded in during the Dwight Howard transaction. But a lot of these guys are homegrown. And the question I ask, and I think a lot of people will think this, is how do you get free agents to start coming down to Orlando? As we've seen in the NBA, it's transient now. All the stars want to move around. They want to play together. They want to do all these non-traditional team-building type movements. How do you get guys to come down there to play?
Well, you have to, give them a reason to play, which, the main reason for free agents is, to have success and win. And, if you build something, either to where there's good potential and, you're missing kind of a piece or two, and then you can pitch that to a free agent, or if it's, you already have success, you want to take it a further step. Those are the type of things that attract free agents. Because when it comes to the money, most teams don't have the same amount of money when with the salary cap and all the rules that are in. So you just have to have that success of winning, and that's what will attract the players to come to your team. And so I feel like we're getting there. Obviously we have some good pieces as well here, but I think hopefully we can make this a destination that free agents will love to come.
Nikola, we wanted to ask you before we let you go. It's Nikola Vucevic, the All-Star Center for the Magic here on Tiki and Tierney. We ran down a lot of the players that the organization has drafted and is beginning to develop. Different description, more trying to fix, for lack of a better description, is Markelle Fultz, who was acquired. I know he's shutting down. He's not going to play the rest of the season. Obviously, the organization needs to get him right. But what's he look like in practice? I mean, I don't want to harp on the young man's shot. He's gone through enough, public chastising, if you will. But does he seem like mentally he's in a good place and he's getting ready to contribute? Or what do you see from Fultz so far?
Honestly, no, he hasn't practiced with us yet. So I've only seen him a little bit. Once the trade happened, he was here with us for a couple of days. So I haven't seen him on the court yet. I spoke to him off the court a little bit, and from what I've heard from other people and some of the other players that I know from Philly, that he's a great guy, a very good player, smart player. And it wasn't easy for him. In Philly, he was number one pick, a lot of pressure, things didn't start the way he maybe wanted to. So it's difficult sometimes, with all the pressure, and they were winning, and he kind of had to play off his position. So it's not always easy. But I think that he can be a very good player for us. Obviously, first and most important is that he gets healthy and he gets right. And then, once he comes back, I think he's going to be a huge boost for us for sure.
Well, listen, really nice having you on the show. It's always good stories to chat with new people. Obviously, you've really popped this year after a good start to your career. It's at a different level, different stratosphere. Congrats on the All-Star status, and we're keeping an eye on the Magic. We know Pat Williams pretty well, so we'll keep an eye on you guys